In this episode, the local Nexus GovLab steps into one of the most urgent conversations shaping communities today, a shift that's unfolding across cities, institutions, and local systems everywhere. For decades, outreach meant information, newsletters, announcements, meetings, updates. But communities don't transform because they are informed. They transform when they are invited to participate, to shape, and to lead. This episode explores a rising paradigm. Beyond outreach, transformational community engagement. We'll unpack how global lessons are reshaping local innovation and reveal the blind spots that still hold many organizations back. Because the real impact doesn't come from transactional touchpoints, it comes from building trust, sharing power, and co-creating the future with the people who live it every day. Communities don't come alive because they are informed. They come alive when they're invited into something larger than themselves. When people are engaged, empowered, and trusted, they move from the edges of decision-making to the center of collective purpose. Across every corner of society, from public institutions to social impact organizations to learning environments, a quiet revolution is underway. The world is shifting from one-way outreach to genuine collaboration, from delivering messages to building movements, from consultation to co-creation. And yet, even with this momentum, critical gaps remain. Too many systems still rely on transactional communication, narrow feedback loops, and structures that unintentionally keep community voices at the margins. These blind spots don't just limit progress, they limit possibility. To unlock the full power of community partnership, we must understand what transformational engagement truly demands and confront what many organizations still struggle to see. Only then can we build systems where people are not passive recipients of information, but active architects of their shared future. Global foundations. Across global development, one pattern keeps rising to the surface. The most effective local governments don't treat participatory governance as a trend. They treat it as a necessity. Around the world, communities are shaping their own futures through bold innovations. In Brazil, Kenya, and Nepal, participatory budgeting is giving residents real power over public spending. In Rwanda and India, community data collectives are redefining how information is gathered and owned. From 2001 to 2021, Afghanistan strengthened accountability through public forums that brought citizens and institutions face-to-face. And in Indonesia, digital village platforms are connecting communities in ways that were impossible just a decade ago. These examples reveal a simple truth. When communities help design the solution, they also help sustain it. But here's the gap that still holds many organizations back. Participation is too often treated as a single moment, a meeting, a survey, a workshop, instead of a continuous system. Institutions gather input, but rarely build the feedback loops that show people how their voice shaped the outcome. And without that loop, trust weakens, momentum fades, and engagement becomes transactional instead of transformational. Nonprofit evolution in the U.S. Across the U.S., organizations are undergoing a quiet evolution. They're moving beyond traditional outreach, beyond announcements, surveys, and program updates, toward models where communities help shape ideas, solutions, and long-term direction. New approaches are emerging everywhere. Human-centered design labs that rethink services through lived experience, collective networks that align partners around shared goals, community advisory groups that bring real voices into decision-making, and narrative power-building efforts that strengthen how communities tell their own stories. These innovations point to a simple truth. When people help design the solution, they also help sustain it. But even the most committed organizations often miss three critical elements. First, communities are still treated as clients rather than co-owners, with limited influence over decisions. Second, data is collected but rarely shared, leaving communities without the tools to act on their own information. And third, engagement is often program-based instead of system-based, meaning it ends when funding ends because it was tied to a grant rather than a long-term strategy. Transformational engagement requires more than participation. It requires shared ownership, shared data, and shared governance, a shift from doing work for communities to building futures with them. The strategic architecture of transformational engagement. Transformational engagement is not a program. It is a strategic architecture, intentionally built, deliberately designed, and rooted in the lived wisdom of communities. It begins with 4 innovative pillars. Pillar 1, trust architecture. Trust doesn't appear on its own. It is engineered through transparency, shared metrics, and community-led monitoring. When people can see the system, measure it, and influence it, trust becomes structural, not symbolic. Pillar 2, belonging ecosystems. Communities thrive when belonging is not an afterthought, but a design principle. When engagement is culturally grounded, multilingual, and identity-affirming, people don't just participate, they feel at home. Pillar 3, co-creation infrastructure workshops, digital platforms, and community labs turn residents into designers of their own future. Co-creation is not consultation, it is shared authorship, a shift from "we decide for you" to "we build with you." Pillar 4, mutual accountability systems. Real transformation requires shared responsibility. Dashboards, forums, and public commitments create a feedback loop where communities and institutions hold each other accountable, openly, consistently, and together. The critical gap: most institutions build programs. They build events, they build initiatives, but they rarely build ecosystems. Transformational engagement demands more. It requires architecture, long-term systems that make trust, belonging, co-creation, and accountability unavoidable. Real-world innovation examples. Across the world, communities are redefining what innovation looks like on the ground. In Kenya, a local district uses community-operated drones to map flood risks. Residents co-design climate resilience plans, leading to faster response, lower costs, and stronger trust. A living example of community innovation. In Denver, a nonprofit launches a community innovation studio where residents prototype solutions before programs are built. The result is higher participation and services that actually match cultural realities, a model of co-creation in action. In a forward-thinking school district, families join a family leadership academy. Parents learn advocacy, data literacy, and co-design tools. Attendance improves, relationships deepen, and families become empowered partners, a powerful form of mutual accountability. But across all sectors, a critical gap remains. Innovation is happening, yet it isn't institutionalized. It relies on champions, not systems. On personalities, not policies. On funding cycles, not long-term strategy. Transformational engagement demands more. It requires architecture, not moments. The future of community engagement. The future of community engagement is already taking shape, and it's being built through emerging innovations that redefine how people participate in shaping their own communities. We're seeing AI-assisted community mapping, digital storytelling platforms that amplify civic voice, community data cooperatives, youth-led governance councils, neighborhood resilience networks, and hybrid engagement models that blend in-person connection with digital participation. Each of these innovations points toward a single, powerful shift: the institutionalization of community power, not as a gesture, but as a governance model. If we want transformational outcomes, we must build transformational relationships. Across countries, sectors, and neighborhoods, the lesson is universal. Engagement is not what we do, it's what we build together. What critical gap do you see in community engagement? In your school, your nonprofit, or your neighborhood? Share below.